You might be wondering, is the Quest 3 going to have better battery life than the Quest 2? Should I get a Pro or should I get a 3? Is Threads coming to VR? Well, we get those answers and more from Meta CTO Andrew Bosworth. Roll the tape.
About the same as Quest 2, plus or minus, and the thing that we're always able to continue to work on and improve, and of course it varies based on what you're using it for. Yes, of course, we continue to make all of our headsets better over time. I'm pretty pleased about the fact that we just released, performance improvements for both Quest 2 and Quest Pro, and we're going to continue to do that. I love my Quest Pro. I was just using it a bunch. If you can see, actually, probably still have a little bit of a mark on my forehead after extended use today. My hairstyle not helping me with the headset fit. 5 days in and we're already asking for the crossover. I think it's a little early. Certainly, I think I'm excited about Threads too. But no, it's a little early. I think we're gonna one thing at a time. Yeah, I mean, look, at some point these headsets are a physics problem, and you can spend your thermals and your weight one way, or you can spend it another way. But at some point, the equation has to square. And so I think for them, if they had, and their headsets about, I think, roughly in the same ballpark as weight as our headsets are, and they wanted to have, some battery life, they had to go external with that. So there's just no, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what company you are, who you work for. Physics is a uniform belligerent to the space, and we're making progress hand over fist as an industry. I think Apple's entry is going to help with that a lot. But yeah, you got to square the circle somehow, and they had to do it with an external battery pack and a cord. Yeah, Andy Grove, the famous Intel CEO and kind of the godfather of Silicon Valley, always used to say, only the paranoid survive. And we try to embody that. You try to approach your work with a lot of humility. So whenever a great competitor comes out, whether it be the Pico, whether it be Apple Vision Pro, certainly, you're trying to look and see, well, what do they do differently and why? What did we miss? Or did we get it wrong? Or did they figure something out? So you try to learn from it and be humble about it. At the same time, you can't be constantly chasing every competitor because then you're getting thrown off your own game. You're getting thrown off what you can uniquely do and what you've done right that they need to learn from. In our case, I think we've got a great ecosystem. We've got a great set of devices. We found a great price point. So, it's a balance. You're trying to learn from them and not over-rotate on it. There's a bunch of stuff nothing that we hadn't looked at before, but a bunch of stuff that were developing. We were focusing on gaze and touch, for example, for AR as well. It's a natural AR interaction. Is that something that needs to get more priority in VR? Not sure yet. So we're looking at it. We're not sure yet. No, the metaverse term is fine. There's nothing wrong with the term. It does lack definition because we haven't given it full definition yet. I remember people drift off finding the internet in the 90s and trying to define the internet. And the internet actually is still, to this day, kind of hard to define, except that we all know what it is because we use it. Katie Couric was trying to define it. All these people kind of have these funny things. When a term is new, you still need to have a term for things, but it lacks definition for most people, even among those of us working on it. We have slightly different conceptions of it, and that is so normal for this point of view. So I don't think the term does more harm than good. I think new technology is always like this, and we have lots of examples of that. Having said that, I do think that it definitely got way more hype than we expected. We rebranded ourselves. We were worried that people wouldn't even notice. They would kind of treat it like some of our competitors have rebranded and nobody even paid attention. We got a lot of attention. So we definitely exceeded our goals on the rebrand. Oh no, this is from my own team. The call's coming from inside the house. Really depends on what you're using it for. If you're using social experiences as much as I do, the Quest Pro eye tracking and face tracking is a pretty clutch feature differentiation that I really value. Workrooms a bunch, Horizon Worlds a bunch. And so for me, that makes a big difference. And then also, I like the open periphery. For me, it doesn't break my immersion at all. I find it more comfortable. I like being able to kind of see my surroundings, stay connected if I want to get a drink, if I want to use my keyboard, that kind of thing. Of course, for a lot of people, if they're more focused on especially solo entertainment, I think the Quest 3 is going to be a tremendous step forward for them. So you're not going to go wrong. They're both great. Hey, why not get one of each? Yeah, one thing that happens when you have a depth sensor is you have an additional source of truth. And so, sure, the experience that you have on a headset that has both visual computer vision and a depth sensor running, is potentially the strongest. You're able to use that depth sensor to train the computer vision so that even on headsets that don't have a depth sensor, they also improve under different conditions. So it really should improve the entire pipeline. And that is one of the things that we underestimate is the degree to which this technology is stacking on itself generation after generation. and you're learning how to work in different lighting conditions and in different physical environments. And that is, the process that is happening right now as we train these algorithms up over real-time use cases. In here, but both wrong. And people won't believe me. I don't care. I'm telling the truth. You can believe me or not. That's up to you. No, what we found out, especially last year, was that when we announce a new headset in September, October, a lot of people, especially when you already have headsets out in market, a lot of people have already made buying decisions in the summertime, or they've kind of committed to a path, and so you're not capturing the full holiday season. And so we sent a note to Mark long before we even knew about WWDC timing or substance, that, hey, for Quest 3, we want to announce it early, so that people know it's coming, so they can plan well in advance of the holiday season what they want to do. So that was our plan from a long time ago, and the timing worked out unbelievably well. So I'm not mad about it. I'm not saying I'm mad about it. I'm just saying that was the plan that we developed in terms of go-to-market. Had nothing to do with. Nah, listen. Every now and then, when you're like a slightly public figure like I am, someone will write a bunch of stuff about you, and it's basically all wrong. It's all half-truths, misleading half-truths, and they'll give you the opportunity to correct it, but all they're really doing is like, hey, why don't you give me the news? It's almost like a shakedown. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of wrong things about you, and I'm going to publish them unless you tell me the right things. And I don't do that. So don't believe everything you read. The stuff that came out today was all wrong, including the stuff on PC mobile. So the reality was we weren't staffed to do both. I told Mark, I said, we're not staffed to do both these things right now. And I said, the long term is almost certainly mobile. The short term is PC, and we're not staffed to do both. And Mark agreed, and so we staffed both. And that's how we got to where we are. So don't believe everything you read. That thing was full of half-truths and misleading stuff. But I am 6'2" tall. That's true.